Greetings and welcome to an orchestraltemplates.com sample quickie, or rather a sample quickie explaining what these actually are. In this series I want to show you sample libraries that I think deserve a nice place in your template. You could call these videos reviews, but that's only half what they are. We look at download and installation, general usage, sound and, most of all, how these sample libraries can work as part of your larger workflow. Some choice words about the gear I'm using. These videos are generally filmed in Cubase 10 Pro on an i7-3930K with 64GB of RAM, using Windows 10 Pro. My audio interface is an RME Fireface UCX, and everything runs from SSD drives. I use a Studio Logic SL Studio 88 keyboard, plus a Hornberg HP1 breath station as my breath controller. Whenever any MIDI CCs are involved, the ever-powerful Evolution UC33E will do the deed. Every video has the same general structure, and this video serves as an overview of how these videos work, so you don't have to suffer through me repeating it every down video. Segments on purpose are edited as little as possible. All videos are half scripted, so I will generally have a bullet point script in front of me while filming to have a central thread. For full transparency, there'll always be a short title card and narration about how I came into possession of the software in question, as well as any ties I might or might not be having to the people who make it. All videos will be objective though, and nothing I say will be influenced by anyone. We always start with the specs of the library: name and manufacturer, its website, as well as download size and install size, plus space needed during installation. That just makes sure you can plan for the setup if you decide to get that particular product. The prices shown are suggested retail prices, not taking into account any discounts or so. I always include the library version the video deals with, so you can see at a glance if the video is about an older version of the product, especially if I should happen to mention any issues during the video. The required sampler, usually contact full or player in the respective version, concludes the tech specs. The next section deals with what the library actually has, with a quick rundown of how the content is laid out in terms of folder structure and what you can find in there. This section can be quite short or can take quite long. Here I'll also discuss specific things unique to that particular developer or library, so we go into the actual content with an idea how the whole thing is intended to be used by the developer. In the content section we'll look at patches that I think represent the product best. There will generally not be all the content there is, after all these videos are called Sample Quickie, not Sample Eternal Waffle, but it will be what I see as the reason why you would get the thing in the first place. This is also the section where you'll get to hear the actual sound of the library. To have a solid base of comparison with regard to loading times and other tech stuff, all samples will run from an internal SATA 3 SSD, unless stated otherwise, and a battery save or similar procedure on other samplers has been made. Loading times are not shortened unless expressly noted. During this section, I'll also do my best to show off all the amazing script features that are there, so you can get an idea of how much you can tweak things to your heart's content. Out of respect for the developers, I would always stop short of changes inside the patches though. The "Why should I get it" section deals with the reasons why you might want to look at getting that particular product. I point out use cases and real-world applications, sometimes outside the use intended by the developer. Some libraries are easier to integrate into an existing template and hence workflow than others. Here I'll show you how I approach this topic and how to find a middle ground between adapting the product to your workflow while taking into account how the developer intends it to be used. At times this section can get a bit religious, in that particular workflows intended by developers may not be universally shared like key switches versus individual patches. Whenever it makes sense, the alternative section presents possible alternatives to the product discussed. All these alternatives are taken from personal and client experience, and I will always only mention alternatives that I have at least briefly used myself. The conclusion will aim to summarize the whole product in a sentence or so, and give a general recommendation on how to implement it. That concludes our first little sample quickie about what sample quickies are. I hope you found it useful and it helps you put the actual videos into context. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of new videos. As always, leave your feedback in the comments. Take care and see you soon.